Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're taking on what is, for a lot of us, the absolute ultimate boss fight of daily life. Yup, I'm talking about public speaking anxiety. It's kind of like that classic Seinfeld joke, but it perfectly captures reality. Public speaking is technically the world's biggest fear. Think about what that actually means. It means that at a funeral, most people would literally rather be dead and inside the coffin than up there giving the eulogy. I mean, that's just wild to think about, right? And what does conventional wisdom tell us to do about this massive fear? Well, if you've ever Googled for help, you've definitely found this exact quote. Imagine the audience in their underwear. But let's be real here for a second. That advice is absolutely terrible. It's weird, it's honestly pretty creepy, and it just doesn't work. Instead of feeling calm, you're just standing there on a stage, totally anxious and incredibly confused by a room full of half-naked strangers in your head. But here is the real truth we're going to unpack today. Public speaking is easy, actually. Now, I know that sounds like a massive stretch. The school system and all these so-called communication experts really want you to believe that public speaking is this complex, high-stakes performance, right? Like you need years of graduate school just to master it. But as we'll see as we go through this explainer today, you definitely do not need a PhD to conquer the room. So let's kick things off with level 1, the NPC shift. Now, what exactly is an NPC? Well, in video games, it stands for non-player character, but in the context of your audience, it means someone who is deeply, deeply interested in themselves. When you're standing up at the front of the room, it's so easy to think everyone is hyper-focused on your shaky hands or that one time you slightly tripped over a word. But in reality, they really aren't. Realizing that your audience is mostly made up of NPCs is a massive cheat code for your anxiety. Why? Because it completely lowers the stakes from some life-or-death survival situation down to simply talking to people in real life. They're sitting there thinking, what's for lunch? That's literally it. Half of your audience is just planning their next meal. You are not the main character in their story, you know? You're just a background character in theirs. And the other half, they're probably thinking, wait, did I leave the stove on? They are entirely consumed by their own background character problems. And knowing this is incredibly liberating. Once it clicks that they are just worrying about their own stuff, that crushing weight of judgment instantly lifts right off your shoulders. Moving right along to level 2, plain language and preparation. You know how academics just love hiding behind incredibly complex sentences? They act like some sort of PhD robot. But here's the secret. The very second you start using super niche terms, people actually stop listening to you. Instead, you've got to use simple language that proves you actually touch grass. Whether you're explaining cleaning lore, system design, or the trolley problem, if you cannot explain it in a way a child can understand, you're doing it wrong. Just use plain language, maybe throw in a few self-deprecating jokes, and you'll instantly become vastly more charismatic and respectable than someone who just sounds like a robot. Now, before you just walk out there and wing it, you absolutely need to understand the 80-20 rule of preparation. Look, you do not need to read a 400-page textbook on rhetoric. You just need a super clear structure. Step 1, make a claim. Step 2, provide some evidence. And Step 3, explain the reasoning for why that evidence actually matters. It is really that straightforward. And hey, if you're ever struggling to find the right way to structure your thoughts, you can use today's unofficial shortcut, Shortform. It's basically this amazing library of full guides to the best books on communication and social skills out there. Think classics like How to Win Friends and Influence People. Instead of spending weeks trying to read all of these, it completely bypasses the fluff and hands you the chapter-by-chapter social wizard tactics in just a few hours. It's absolutely perfect if you're a focused learner. All right, let's level up. Level 3, audience engagement wizardry. When it comes down to crowd control, it really all depends on your room size. If you're speaking to a smaller group, the ultimate wizard tactic is to use people's actual names and make direct eye contact. It just makes them feel appreciated and seen. But what if it's a huge crowd? Well, just pick 3 people in different parts of the room and pretend you're having a completely transparent one-on-one conversation with them. Seriously, it is so much easier to talk to a buddy than it is to try and address this faceless mob. And that brings us to level 4, practice without overthinking. Okay, so instead of just sitting there staring silently at your notes, try recording a time-lapse of yourself practicing. Or even better, talk to a camera like you're filming a YouTube video. No, I know, watching the recording back might feel insanely cringe, but trust me, it's the fastest way to realize you really don't look as nervous as you feel. And here's a golden rule for you. If you mess up, never apologize. Don't stalk and admit your academic comeback is failing live on stage. Just keep going like it was all part of the master plan. Because honestly, at the end of the day, leading a room is really no harder than explaining Minecraft lore to your friends. Public speaking isn't about being some born charismatic genius with a silver tongue. It's simply a series of repeatable steps and high-leverage habits that absolutely anyone can learn. So, the final question I have for you today is this. Are you ready to stop overthinking and just initiate the conversation? You've got the cheat codes now. The only thing left to do is press start. Thanks so much for learning with me today.